Okay, this is going to be the third video about dry firing. The first one was not obviously, but if you watched it, it's just doing this motion again and again, right? Learning how to punch out, acquiring your sights really quickly. And then the other one, the second one, was about drawing from the holster with two hands. I think the third most important thing, that's just going to be the third video, is drawing with one hand, right? In America, we carry with one in the chamber. I don't have one in the chamber right now, but we carry around in the chamber. For the most part, most people do, because we're scared of, or we carry a gun because we, at least on the streets, usually it's not because to stop a terrorist attack, even though that could happen, or a mass shooting. Most people are thinking, I'm carrying a gun because I might get robbed. I might get robbed by a 14-year-old, or a 20-year-old, or a criminal, and then I might have to get my gun out real quick and take that shot and defend myself and my family, or someone else. That's why most people are carrying it with around in the chamber, because they might have to get a gun out really quick. They might be a victim.
We spoke to him by phone. I turned to look and see the other gentleman. He had a gun pointed in my face, and I was able to knock his hand down, and the gunfire basically rang out. The CPL holder, wearing the black and white T-shirt and shorts.
In Israel, people like to point out that most people do not carry with around the chamber. Usually they have to rest one in the chamber and then go to work. The reason for this is obviously safety, but I think because most people, when they carry a gun, it's not because they think they're going to be a victim of a crime or a robbery. It's because they think they're going to be, there's going to be a terrorist attack, and they might have to respond. They might not be the target of the terrorist attack, but they might have to respond, and when they have to respond, they just put it around in the chamber, right, and they go to work. That's how they do that. But in America, might be a victim of a robbery, might have to get their gun out. If you had to get your gun out, there's a good chance it can be really up close and personal, and you might not have time to get two hands on the gun. You might also have to use one other hand to push the guy away, to kind of deflect, and then you only have one hand to get the gun on the holster with. One hand to get the gun to draw from the holster with. Okay, so we're gonna go over that. The one point which I think is, I've never seen anyone talk about it, but I practice a lot. When you practice drawing with around in the with only one hand from the holster, you tend to get your clothing, so you don't have a second hand to get the clothing out of the way. So why is that so important? Because if you don't get your clothing out of the way, your hand tends to grab your clothing also. You can rip the clothing or just push out, but it kind of ruins your draw when you grab your clothing, right? It ruins your draw, kind of gets you a little unsteady. So for what I do, I found from a little bit of practice is that when you initially, even though we usually say get your hand a good, nice grip on the gun before you even get it out of the holster, I would say when you're drawing with one hand, not to do that. Not to do that. Just get one hand on the holster, on the gun, but don't get your hand, I'll show you, don't get your palm right here. Don't actually grip the gun yet. Just I put my thumb in the back of the slide, and I kind of have over here kind of loose, right? Sorry. Kind of have it kind of loose, so then my clothing doesn't get stuck right here between my palm and the grip of the actual gun. I'll show you how that looks. Right? So I'm not already getting a nice grip. I'm just getting a little bit, I'm getting the gun out. I'm not gripping the gun real tight. Right? And then once I clear my clothing, then I put the rest of my one-handed strong grip on. I'll do it a few times. Right? My clothing didn't get stuck on my grip. I didn't get stuck. If you don't believe me, you can just try this a few times. That got stuck a little bit. My undershirt is not tucked in. Right? I can feel when I'm taking my hand out, my gun out of the holster, I can feel my shirt getting touching my hand right here between the palm of the gun. But since I don't actually grip it really tight, I kind of just let it loose. It kind of just falls away. And it's not actually so important you actually fully extend. Because in real life, if you only have one hand, you're probably going to be a few feet of someone, so you might just have to shoot from right here. One more time. Okay. Hope you learned something. The technique of not getting a full grip on your hand, I think, is really important. I think it's something important to practice, just knowing that you might actually have to grip a gun and draw from the holsters with one hand. It happens not frequently, but it does happen. We've seen videos of that happening. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this video.